A leaked document about potential competition plans for NASCAR in 2019 was released to racinboys.com over the weekend, and I don't like it. In fact, I say don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. The plan is to use an all-star race package at select races next season. So basically you get that pack racing that we saw in the all-star race. In my mind, don't do that. You really cannot do that. So basically what was, Racing Boys obtained a copy of a NASCAR document featuring the proposed 2019 event implementations at 14 races on next year's schedule, and the proposals were apparently kicked around during a July 11th meeting with the NASCAR Rules Committee. So basically, what it says in this document is the races where the All-Star package could be used. They include Las Vegas Motor Speedway, the Auto Club Speedway, both Texas races, both Kansas races, both Michigan races, the All-Star Race, the Coca-Cola 600, Chicago, Kentucky, and Indy. Those are the races where you could potentially see this package if they go forward with it. There's been a lot of outcry against this. Do not do this. Do not do this. It's going to kill the sport. You know, the sport's already going downhill. This will make it go downhill faster. Any fans that somehow are still here, that are still keeping up hope with NASCAR after all the rules changes, watching in the 80s and going through, you know, the chase and then the different chases, the stages, all these different rules changes, and they still stuck through, this will be the straw that broke the camel's back. Anyone that's still left of like those older fans, the older generation fans, they will leave because this is not the way to go. You do not produce good racing by artificially slowing the cars down. If anything, I want my 2014 horsepower back with an aero package that is harder to drive than the 2014 package. Imagine that 2014 package, that unlimited, they had as much horsepower as they could just put into a race car. You know, unrestricted engines. They put a tapered spacer on in 2015. Basically what the tapered spacer does, it's a mini restrictor plate, kind of reduces the horsepower a little bit. That's why maybe after 2015 the racing went downhill besides 2016, which was arguably as good as of 2014, if not better than. But basically, I want my 2014 horsepower back, unrestricted, you know, over 200 off into the corner at Michigan, with a smaller spoiler to make the cars harder to drive. Imagine with a smaller spoiler, right? So in 2014 they had a huge spoiler, really big. What that did was keep the straightaway speeds down because there was more drag on the car. So the straightaway speeds were down. Middle corner speeds were higher than they are now because there was more downforce with that 2014 package. With that 2014 package, if anything, clean air meant more than it did now. Then, skip ahead to a few years where NASCAR implements a smaller spoiler, harder cars to drive. That creates less drag on the car, allowing faster straightaway speeds. In the corners, the cars are hard to drive, so they have to slow it down more. In my opinion, that can make racing a lot better, considering the driver talent will come out and show over maybe the car, unless of course straightaway speeds, they're that high, then obviously the car will as well. But basically changes that they said was they're calling it the NA18D race package would feature a tapered spacer with an engine producing roughly 550 horsepower, which is about 150 more than we saw in the All-Star race. Other changes were getting rid of the onboard track bar adjuster, which I think is something that could just go. It really, I don't know, why be able to adjust on the go? Have to, you know, just deal with the race car conditions. If anything, it's kind of hurt the racing as well, because instead of having to wait for a pit stop to make those adjustments, you just do it right then and you could fix the car. So obviously that could be another reason why people have stayed out front and gotten out front, because they could just adjust whatever they need to in the car and they're fine. Other things include maybe scrapping down on some testing time and getting rid of some tests like wind tunnel tests and whatnot. So I don't know. Well, but just do not do the restrictor plate package. That's not the way to go. Slowing down cars, that's not racing. Racing is meant to be who has the fastest car, who has shown up with the fastest car, who has made their car the best. That is not a way to do that. Like, under any package, no matter how much you hate a package, a lot of people hate 2018. It has still produced one of the best races in modern era NASCAR. The 2018 Chicago race was outstanding, had an outstanding finish. With restrictor plates, what would that race have been? What would it have been? Everything has to be perfect. You have to have Goodyear bring the perfect tire to the track where it wears down a little bit, but not too much. You have to have a perfect track, a track which is old but not too old, to where it will wear tires out, but you can also stay out 5-lap tires and still be competitive. Other than, say, Atlanta or Darlington, where you stay out 5-lap tires and you are already like half a second off the pace, stuff like that. I mean, it's just restrictor plate is not a way to go. Something that maybe they should look into. These 2-day schedules that they've been doing. Maybe do something like that, because in my mind, having 3 practices for a race is ridiculous. Because think about it. The more practice time you have, that's more chance to get the car better, and that's rewarding the teams who, maybe don't start out as well, but they can gain on it. Maybe just do 1 or 2 practice sessions. Maybe one that's 2 45-minute practice sessions or something. They don't need a ton of time to make their cars better. They can do that during the race. The whole thing is you want to be able to adjust on the car throughout the race. So many drivers now, they have cars that are almost perfect at the beginning of the race. Oh, I want this small adjustment. That just doesn't, that's not right. You need to, you have to adjust it during the race along with during practice. And I think maybe limiting the amount of practice sessions that they have is a way to go to make maybe some of the racing better, to where some drivers need, a better handling car during the race. We see that with maybe some the teams that are behind, like Hendrick Motorsports. They need to adjust during the race. Maybe some the Joe Gibbs teams aren't really doing great. Penske, but Stewart Haas cars, their cars are normally great at the beginning, so they don't really need much. But going back to the plate thing, it's not the aero package that's the problem. It's the car. The car is the problem, because these Gen 6 cars, they look nice and all. They rely way too much on downforce. They rely way too much on the downforce that is given to that car, on the aerodynamics and all that. If you get beside someone trying to pass you on the inside, you can pinch them down, they'll get tight. You can pinch them down, they'll get loose underneath you. You take the side force off these cars, and they become uncontrollable and whatnot, and it's the downforce is king in this. It just doesn't, it's bad. I would hope that they would just keep the package that we have now. Just keep this package. Just keep a package where the drivers still have to race the car. I can go out on a racetrack and turn left and hold the gas wide open for 3 hours. That's not something that when someone goes up to a NASCAR post says well, I can do that, they're just turning left, I can do that. Well, then you could say well, you can also, turn left and go from 220 miles an hour in Michigan down 170 in the corners. Instead, now with this aero package, it's going to be, well, I can do that. I can just hold the gas pedal down and go 180 down the straightaways, 180 through the corners. There's nothing special about it now. Now you're just going to create Russian roulette. You're going to have big crashes. It's going to cost teams more money. Sure, it may help some of the underfunded teams, but it's not like they're going to be up there winning. It's still going to be it's not like the 55 car is going to come from the back of the field because this restrictor plate package and win the race. I mean, maybe he'll finish top 20 because there might be 10 million crashes in the race, but otherwise, it's not going to help much. We saw Kevin Harvick. He won at Charlotte with this plate package. It doesn't, it doesn't really affect the outcome of the winner. It's just gonna create more artificial racing. Like, why not just let the best car and best driver win? And that's where I kind of point to the whole Big Three thing and how bad it is. Well, it's not bad, but how bad the fans kind of react to it. Because, like, think about it. The Big Three, they've won, what, 16 now, 20 races, something like that this season? They've won a lot. Like, they've won a lot of races. But you think about it, you go back to, like, some of the fans complaining about the Big Three. They're like, oh, well, these three keep winning. It's boring now. You know, I want new people to win. Is the plate package something that is a reaction to the fans' comments? Because you think about it, they're like, oh, well, we want new winners. And NASCAR's like, well, here's a package where everyone's equal. You know, whoever just has the biggest balls wins the race. And then fans start being like, well, no, I don't want that. You know, why not just, like, whoever has the best car wins? Well, you're complaining about the best three in the sport right now winning races. You can't have it both ways. You can't have it where, like, you know, oh, well, I want someone new to win. Well, here's this package where someone new's going to win. Well, I want the best car to win. Like, how about you just pick a side? Like, please, just deal with it. You know, this could be one of those seasons where in 2025, you look back at it and you're like, that was actually a really good season. That was really cool seeing those three dominate and compete with each other and one-up each other every week. They kept saying that. Jimmy Johnson went 5 in a row. People hated it at the time. The announcer said, this will be something you look back on and you'll appreciate. Looking back on it, amazing what he did. Absolutely amazing. There are some championships, some forms of sports where there will be seasons that you will hate. In the future, you'll look back on it and you'll say, man, that was actually a really cool thing to witness, you know, in person. Witness live on TV. You know, that was a really cool thing that I was able to watch. That could happen with this season. With those three. Now imagine if, going back to the chase, imagine if this was a full season point style where points never got reset. Because it would be those three battling each other. It'd be really cool to see who could gain the upper hand on each other. Also, the same can be said with the Xfinity Series title, because I think it's like they showed like the points, like the actual point standings. I think it was like Christopher Bell, Elliott Sadler, Cole Custer, and Daniel Hemrick, all within like 50 points of each other. Like how, like that I think that would be a lot more entertaining than the chase format we have now. But that's a different video in and of itself. But my plea is no plates. We don't need plates. We need a new car. And that new car is coming. They're working on a car. I don't know when it's gonna come. We don't need plates. For the meantime, just keep the aero package. Have teams figure out the aero package. You know, have teams figure out the secrets Stewart-Haas doing. Hell, at Pocono, Hendrick Motorsports had their 4 cars inside the top 10 for a good majority of the race. So, are they starting to figure it out? I don't know. But that's all I'll say. That Hendrick Motorsports has done better as of late. Some other teams have done better as of late. So maybe they are catching up. Maybe they aren't. Maybe it's just a fluke. Maybe they're just getting lucky. I don't know. But till then, don't add plates. Plates are going to hurt everything. We don't need plates. We need real racing. And as Kyle Busch said, that's not real racing. It's not a real racetrack, even though it is a real racetrack. It's not real racing, though. Plates do not produce real racing. Please, no plates. No tapered spacers. Give me unrestricted engines. Horsepower. That's what I want. I want the cars to go fast, not slower.